For the second program in a row, I'm discussing the green shift of India, the world's second most populous nation with 1.3 billion inhabitants. My two guests are His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Norway, Dr. Bala Bhaskar, and His Excellency, Mr. Erik Solheim, the Climate General of the world. They are discussing how do we get the masses and the people of faith on board in possibly the most religious nation in the world, India. Don't go away. Well, Dr. Bhaskar, thank you for this delicious Indian coffee.
Thank you.
I enjoy it. Now, for the green shift to actually accomplish in India, a nation of 1.3 billion human beings must have a great mobilization of the masses. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is possible. When there is a cyclone, a small cyclone, you might have heard about cyclone. In one night, we will shift 1 million people.
Yeah.
This is the power of mobilization in India. Our machinery, our bureaucracy is so dynamic. In terms of mobilization, in terms of crisis, our strengths are unparalleled, right? So our machinery is so geared up, then we can, these mobilizations are easy. Mobilizing one night, you shift 1 million people, and we erect shelters overnight for 1 million people. So these are the capabilities. Coming to the green shift, it doesn't require that kind of mobilization, and it requires it enables greater participation of people in the event of green shift, because in the present form of energy, it is produced in select places. When we move to a green shift, it will be more renewable energies. The renewable energy sources are more dispersed. They are not concentrated in one place. Our solar energy, it is available everywhere all over India. Our wind energy, there are pockets all over India. So, number one, when you make a green shift, your energy mobilization will be highly decentralized.
Yeah.
What does it mean? When it is decentralized, there will be more participation of people in the energy activity, right? So then there will be, for example, solar panels. The solar panels can be manufactured all over India by different startup companies. Different groups can be involved, and then there will be a large number of microgrids, right? It provides a greater employment. It involves people. It both in mobilization, in installation, and various other forms of energy activity. For example, biofuels. Biofuels need lot of collection of biofuels, wood, the other items. So it involves a lot of people. So green shift is more decentralized. It involves more people. It's more people-centric activity.
So people can actually see something for themselves.
Yeah, they will see something themselves. They develop that sense of belongingness because it is located in various places, and then they are involved more. So they admire more.
Exactly. Now, Mr. Solheim, I was shocked to the core of my being some 13, 14 years ago when you, as a minister in the Norwegian government, received me in your office. I, as a man of faith, you're also a person of faith, but I'm a conservative Christian, which is kind of different. But you show great respect to people of faith of all kinds. Tell me about that.
Well, I realized that when it comes to the engagement, emotions, real love for nature, for very many people that comes also from experience, spiritual experience linked to religion. Many people really want to protect Mother Earth because they see Mother Earth as a creation of Christian God or Allah or close to the Hindu gods. So you should not underestimate religion as an inspiration for positive action. And added, at the time I worked a lot in Africa, there are lots of civil society groups in Africa, Western model. Most of them, frankly, is an office in the capital, and it will exist as long as there is funds coming from Europe. Yeah.
Exactly.
When there are no more funds, well, it will not exist any longer. However, if you go to the villages of Africa, everywhere you will find either Christian or Islamic or both faiths being represented in a major way. So if you want to speak to people in Africa, you cannot avoid this. And I saw a poll once from Burundi, something like 98% of all Burundians said that God is a central part of my life. There was no similar poll from Norway, but it was from Sweden. Yeah. And I think it was 16% in Sweden who said the same, that God is absolutely central in my life, where close to 100% said the same in Burundi. So we need to speak with respect to, I mean, should speak with respect to everyone, for sure. Yeah. But absolutely, yes, indeed, we should speak with and learn from faith leaders.
From your many visits to India, do you see that much the same faith dimension in India?
Yeah, my simple view is that India is the most religious place on earth.
Yeah.
China is the least religious place on earth. Yeah. This has nothing to do with the present communists. This is 2,000-3,000 years in Chinese history. Chinese were never really interested in God, interested in politics and how to create the best society on earth. Confucius, the great Chinese teacher, it's all about the planet. It's nothing about the heaven. Yeah. It's all about people, nothing about God. So the Chinese has been largely with very little interest in religion. Indians, to the contrary, religion is so close to the soul of everyone, and it's very, very hard to distinguish the great Hindu traditions and of course later the Islamic traditions from the soul of India. You find temples absolutely everywhere, and the great Indian stories, the founding stories of India, the Vedas, the Marabis, all these are of course so much linked to Hinduism that you cannot distinguish it. There are some big differences between Hinduism, which is the main religion in India, and Christianity. I mean, there is no church in Hinduism, nothing like the Catholic Church, with a very, very strong organizational apparatus covering the world, nothing like that. And there's nothing like a very strict scripture which you need to follow. Gandhi said that you can be atheist, or you can believe in 1 million gods, or you can believe that all Hindu gods come together in one. You can still just still a Hindu. So there is a difference. But the Hindu traditions are very close to nature.
Exactly.
Think of the following. I mean, two of the main gods are, Hanuman is a monkey and still a god. Ganesh is a half human, half elephant, one of the key gods in Hinduism. And of course the river Ganga is the holy river of Hinduism, and so much linked to Shiva. Shiva may be coming down from the Himalaya mountains and making this fantastic river of the Ganga. So you cannot distinguish between Hindu traditions and Indian nature. So of course to protect that nature will be a calling for many Hindus.
Exactly.
And I'm working closely with two modern day gurus. One is Sri Ravi Shankar in Bangalore, and the other is a person called Sadhguru in southern city of Coimbatore. This year, Sadhguru will embark upon a huge global tour. He will start going by motorbike from London to Delhi through numerous European countries with one mission: to bring attention to the issue that we need to protect the soil. Yeah. Because if we destroy the soil, we will have no agriculture and we cannot live, and there is so much pollution and destruction of soil. And Sadhguru, well, I think he has 3 million followers on on Twitter. He has millions of followers. He put up an enormous, beautiful Shiva temple in the city of Coimbatore, which has dragged attention from all over India. And his ambition is to get 3.5 billion people globally to speak about soil, inspired by his tour. So, while yes, indeed, religion is a matter for the individual, but also some of these Hindu leaders or leaders in the Hindu tradition can speak to enormous amount of people and get them to start acting.
Yeah.
That's an inspiration for the rest of the world, I would think. Even
He
the
is
Christian
very
world.
inspirational, very inspirational. And so is Sri Ravi Shankar. He has also millions of followers. I'm on the board of his university in the city of Bhubaneswar, Sri University there. And they just got a lot of prizes as one of the best universities in India. And they even got prizes as one of the best universities in the world in some specific categories. And that's linked to, it's not like a Christian school where there is a strong message, but it's interwoven with this Hindu culture.
Correct. Now, to add to what Mr. Erik Solheim said, that within the family there can be many religions.
Yeah.
So it's not that religion is a subject of certain region or communities. Within the family there can be religions. Each person may have a different god, right?
Yeah.
Different faith. So then there is another aspect, as he mentioned, that it's a more of a spiritual outlook in the religion. It's not like the many people gather. They gather not to propagate religion or to, they gather as a spiritual experience. They gain that spiritual, seeking spiritual enlightenment, spiritual experience, and understanding more of nature, appreciate the sources of life, like rivers. Many people go and take dip in rivers, though they just want to purify themselves, to deal with the nature and show gratitude. And it's a different kind of the way of thinking,
And it shows again what Erik Solheim said about the proximity to nature, the appreciation, defense of nature.
Yes.
Now,
because at the end of the day, all major religions are close to nature. Because people, humans throughout history has been close to nature. Think of Jesus Christ. He walked around this relatively small lake of Galilee in Palestine. Where were the fishermen there? He went up in the mountains to speak. And the early days, the cross was not the main Christian symbol. Like fish was a much earlier Christian symbol.
Exactly.
The tree, which means the fig tree in the Bible, so it's a strong symbol. So all religions come with this look on nature. You just need to look for it.
And I'm asking now, I heard that there are green efforts in farming in India. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's in fact in his home state of Andhra Pradesh, where I've been supporting a program there which has transferred 1 million farmers, but with families, that's more than 5 million people, Norwegian population, into what's called zero budget farming, with the support of course of the chief minister of that state, and that is using no fertilizer, using no pesticides, and the revenue goes up. They make more money, the yield is increasing, because they used all the residues from agriculture into fertilizer for the next crop, and of course also what the cows and other animals leave after them is again used. So this has proven a huge success, and the aim is to make all 6 million farmers, 30-40 million people in Andhra Pradesh, into this green farming. And Prime Minister Modi has also set this out as an ambition for India to move in that direction.
That must be encouraging.
Yes. As he mentioned, the green shift basically has 3 segments. The first one is electricity generation. The second one is the transport sector. And the third aspect is the industrial sector.
Yeah.
Right? And industrial and agriculture. When I say industry, means it includes production of fertilizers. First of all, we will see there is a campaign, as His Excellency mentioned, to have farming without fertilizers. In case you have to use fertilizers, then the fertilizers also have to take a shift towards a green fertilizers. This is another huge challenge. And then industries. The industry, at some point, we have to, all the industries, steel industry, cement industry, they all have to shift towards green shift. So once that shift takes place, then the farming also becomes part of that green shift. So it's we are making huge efforts in this direction, and now new agriculture techniques are coming, new farming techniques are developed, and then a campaign, as he mentioned, is being started. In fact, even a Norwegian company, Yara, is also playing very important role in that green shift. So it is as I mentioned, it is a collective effort. The world has to join hands in undertaking this shift in a more effective and accelerated manner.
Must be exciting for you, Dr. Ambassador, for representing a country which is so steeped into this positive development.
Yes, it is a great privilege and honor, and many people ask us, India is such a big country, so many languages, such a diverse country, how do you manage as a diplomat? I tell them, because our biggest strength is our diversity.
Yeah.
Because of the diversity of the country, our development is also more moderate and more understanding, have the ability to appreciate rest of the world, other cultures, other traditions. So when I go to any country, we are easily adaptable, because I'm a foreigner both in India and abroad. It doesn't make any difference because my neighbor can be speaking different language. Right? He may have a different, as I mentioned, habits, tradition. So I'm anyway foreigner even in India. So when I go abroad, it makes no difference. That's why Indians are successful everywhere in the world.
Yes.
Because they immediately get integrated. They appreciate the cultures. They appreciate the traditions. They understand the sensitivities of various ethos, cultures. So, and then that's why they are also respected all over the world. So if Indian diaspora is doing very well, if you think that they are well respected, primarily because they experience diversity since their birth.
Exactly.
And say they inculcate the quality of tolerance from childhood, so that takes them to everywhere they go and make them successful. So tolerance to different cultures, tolerance to different traditions, tolerance to different religions, different climates is central to Indian thought process.
Exactly.
Indians are now the richest group in the United States of America, Indian Americans.
Wow.
They make more money than the traditional white American population, and they're by far the most successful group. And also Norway, of course, Indians are among the most successful people here, doing well in business, making lots of money, doing well in universities, in basically every way.
Right by my office on the main street, Karl Johan in Oslo, is a new Indian restaurant, the Masala Politics. So I need to invite you both to have lunch with me there one day.
Yeah.
We'd love to come, and we know very well the owner, both of us. Oh, yeah. Both sing.
So you can give me a rebate, right?
For sure, he would love to have you.
Now, I heard also, Mr. Solheim, you of course are on boards in so many sectors in India. Even electric buses are being produced in India today.
Yeah, that was the very positive experience. I'm a very good friend of Aditya Thakurai. He's the third generation of the Thakurai dynasty, which has been ruling or played a key role in the state of Maharashtra for the last 50 years. Maharashtra, by the way, is 1.5 times Germany, so it's not a small place, 120 million there. But they have decided he is really a pioneer. He's one of the youngest and best politicians in India, really taking the state in a green direction. and it's now decided that they will have all buses will be electric. But what I was very happy to see was that this is linked to production of the buses in India. While I'm also a big fan of what's happening in China, but of course it's not a good situation if all electric buses in the world are imported from China.
Yeah.
India need jobs for Indian people in India. And then Tata, which is the big historical company in India, has now started production of electric buses in Pune, another well-developed industrial city in southern or central
and
India.
the population actually dare enter those electric buses.
Yeah, they love it for sure. But I mean, you have now two-wheelers, three-wheelers. I mean, three-wheelers we don't have in Europe. It is rickshaws.
Yeah.
They are now largely electric or big-scale electric. You have a starting of two of electric cars, and you also see more and more states going into electric buses. So this is happening fast, and it will also develop a stronger auto industry in India itself.
Now, Ambassador Dr. Bhaskar, you and Erik Solheim have described really a fascinating, exhilarating development in India. But what about the neighboring nations, sir? We have Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and perhaps more nations.
Yeah, whatever developments, particularly in the technological arena, the neighboring countries take India as a role model, in the sense that whatever developments that take place, they will try to adapt them. And we have a policy called Act East policy. We have an active engagement with the countries in the East. We have a separate arrangement with the SAARC countries. Under SAARC mechanism, there are several programs, exchange of ideas, programs that are taking place for cooperation and collaboration in the SAARC countries. And as part of the Act East policy, we have extensive mechanism. We have a wide range of mechanisms for extensive cooperation in various segments. So we are, as I mentioned, we believe in. We don't believe in development in isolation. We want the development along rest of the world. Yeah. Obviously, our neighborhood is closest to us, and they are part of the world. They are the closest part of the world. So we have that special connotation, special support for all these countries. So we believe that particularly in the backdrop of Corona, we believe that the world cannot be in isolation. World cannot develop in isolation. That is why when there was a Corona, we ourselves had problems. Our people were affected. But then we believe that with the concept of world as one family, we simultaneously exported whatever medicines we had. At that time, there were no clarity on what kind of disease it was. But we had certain medicines which at that point of time, doctors believed that they will be effective in controlling Corona. So we immediately exported to more than 50-60 countries. Then even vaccines, when our companies developed vaccines, the first doses went to various countries, more than 60-70 countries. We have exported vaccines, we have exported medicines, not exported, I'm sorry. We have donated, we have contributed, including our neighborhood, including countries in Africa, all over the world, in Latin America, where people want our help, we were readily available, even at the cost of our own people sometimes. But Indians, as I mentioned, they appreciate, they have this world view. So they appreciate, even if they are deprived, we gave the world, and it is widely appreciated. So this is our policy, as His Excellency mentioned, this world as one family, as Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we call it in Sanskrit. That policy has been continuously guiding from time immemorial to now, and I'm sure even in future it will guide.
Your Excellency, Mr. Erik Solheim, you are one of the greatest friends of India, as per the letter you received from Prime Minister Modi. Do you have hope for the future of India?
Absolutely. I believe India will be an absolute dominating part of the world in this century, because before the Industrial Revolution, India was much more developed than Europe. Before the Brits came there, Indian economy was about 25% of the global economy. When the Brits left after colonialism, India was 2% of the global economy. But India is now recovering very fast, as China is also doing. And you will see a much more self-confident, stronger, more prosperous India. True, India still have huge problems. There are still far too many very poor people in India. They need to be brought into the modern society, but it's happening at a high speed. As I said in an earlier program, first time I came to India, I was scared by the poverty I saw. There were so many beggars, and it was really when you come from Norway, it was a very tough experience. When you go to India today, you see a very different society, much more modern, much more developed, a big middle class. But of course, everyone needs to come on board, and there are big differences in India. In general terms, southern India is much more developed, much less poverty than some other parts of northern India. So the whole of India need to develop very fast, but it's happening. This year, in all likelihood, India will have the highest economic growth of any nation in the world, and all this helps. It brings people out of poverty and into a much better life, and then India has so much to contribute to the world. And of course, it's completely crazy in the Security Council of the United Nations. India is not a member, soon to be the population-wise biggest country in the world, while two relatively small European nations are members of the Security Council. Because this need to shift, this need to change, obviously.
Dr. Bhaskar, Your Excellency, are you encouraged by your friend Erik Solheim?
Yes, very much. As I mentioned, first of all, we have also another sloka as a philosophy called Atidhi Devo Bhava. Means we feel that the guests are our gods, right? So we always respect foreigners. We respect foreign cultures, foreign traditions, as we respect in India. And then secondly, India is what are the other strengths of India? As I mentioned, of course, is a very most diverse country in the world. But India is the biggest democracy. See, in the democratic process, there is no way you can go back. You may not go forward the way that you desire, but there is no way you can go back.
Yeah.
That is the biggest advantage. Secondly, we have a well-developed institutions.
Yeah.
We have institutions. Each institution is autonomous, independent. Each organization has a reasonable autonomy. Our independent judiciary. People can come and then they seek justice like any other citizen in India, right? So these are the strengths. And as he mentioned, it's a big country. It's not easy to govern country of 1.3 billion. It's full of challenges, but our population is a challenge. But we are not apologetic about that. We want to convert that challenge into opportunity. So we want to then make every citizen empowered, and so that they can make a greater contribution not only to ourselves but also to the rest of the world. So I think India has a great future. As people are, when you are integrated well in the world, you are part of the bigger world. So that itself is a very great strength. And then India is also land of opportunities. As I mentioned, in the energy sector itself, you have $1 trillion investment opportunities in the coming 10 years. Then similarly, there are different areas. This is a huge population, is also a huge market, a huge opportunity for investments, huge opportunity for trade. So, I mean, there can't be better place of opportunities than India in times to come.
Well, thank you so much, Your Excellency, Dr. B. Bala Bhaskar, Ambassador of India to Norway. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Mr. Erik Solheim, the climate general of the world, for being on my show for these 2 episodes, giving hope to many people around the world and showing the way through the lenses of India, your love lenses for India. Thank you so much, and God bless India, and God bless you both.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.